Right guys, we're in beautiful Cheltenham Racecourse. We're here for the British Open and I'm joined by snooker brain and performance coach, Chris Hendry, who used to be my coach as well. Welcome to the channel.
Great to be here, Stephen.
Shall we have a little frame?
We actually once played in a competitive match, the British Under-21 semi-final, in a little place called Failsworth, and guess what happened? I beat you 4-2. So here's your chance for revenge.
I was going to ask where we first met. So you've just guessed my first question straight away. What age would you be? What age were we?
So you were only 15 and I was, I think, 18.
Right.
But interestingly, you had the same coach that I had as well, which
Frank
was
Callan.
Frank Callan, yeah, from Fleetwood. Mr. Callan, wait at the back. You know,
look at that, no lights.
It's good advice, isn't it? Wait at the back.
What age did you start playing snooker?
I was about 7. It was a little 2-foot table, about this big, and it was little plastic balls.
Right.
And I just got addicted from there, basically, from 7. But I played a lot of other sports as well. I was an apprentice at Blackburn Rovers for football.
Right.
I was good at other sports as well. But snooker was sort of always the one that...
Did you think that's what you wanted to do?
Eventually...
Well, you had ambitions to be pro, or...?
Well, I did turn pro, actually, for a season.
Did you?
Yeah, I played in Blackpool.
I did not know that.
Yeah, at the Norbrett Castle?
Yeah.
Yeah, I played a season. By the way, I wish I hadn't mentioned that success, 4-2.
Well, he's got my back up,
Look
innit?
like you're not going to... You got your back up now. That's happened once or twice over the years, isn't it? I remember Shaun Murphy saying something pre-match in one event. Was it the Masters? Or did he give it the big large of?
Well, I used to really enjoy when players would give it some. I played for that red, thinking I'll get that red away from the black spot, clear the black, but the black doesn't go, so that was shrewd. Yeah, I used to love players saying. I'd one. Was it Jonathan Birch?
Yeah. Was he from the northeast?
Yeah, he was due. I was due to play him, and he'd turned pro, and he was going to be. Well, there was talk of him being the next big thing.
Yeah, I remember.
And we were due to play in Dubai, and he says, "I hope Stephen's brought his golf clubs because he'll be using them a lot." 5-0. Yeah. I did enjoy. The famous one, obviously, Ronnie in the semi-final of the World. Send him back to his sad little life and all that sort of stuff.
Well, that was another one, wasn't it? Yeah.
This light, I can't even see the pocket, so I'll just have to.
No, it's not.
I'll just try and remember where the pocket was.
All the natural light coming in. Ooh, it's a good effort.
Not bad.
I'd have to remind you, after the match against Ronnie O'Sullivan that year in the semi-finals at the Crucible, you played a guy in the final that I was coaching. I'm sorry to remind you.
Oh, Ebdon.
It's a guy called...
Yeah.
2002 final, Peter Ebdon.
Yeah.
That was interesting.
Was he your... Well, I'll go back to when did you start getting interested in coaching then? When did that start? When did this sort of the playing stop?
I think...
or when did you realise you weren't good enough? Let's put it that way.
Yeah, well, when I meet people back from school, they always ask me the question, why the heck didn't you turn professional at football?
Right.
Because that was my best sport, by a mile.
What position?
I was right wing, it was quick. And I actually did something when I was working at the Highbury Sports Centre. I did 8,333 kick-ups without dropping the ball in 90 minutes, football match length.
Was that with a balloon?
It was a football. And that was to raise money for charity. And that's, by the way, that's a bit of concentration for you.
It certainly is.
I'm going to take a bit of a liberty here. I'm going to try a double.
Okay.
That's all right? See how we get on with this one. Oh, dear me. It's absolute quality, isn't it? And that's something that you're not very good at.
I'm crap at doubles. I'm absolutely useless.
I met Frank Callan in Blackpool at the Commonwealth Sporting Club.
Right.
And once I met him and some of his theories about mechanics and technical things.
Right.
And something called cue ball physics.
Right.
That really got my interest.
Really?
Yeah.
Because in all sports, it takes a special sort of to be a coach. Not everyone can do it, can they?
No, I think it's a different skill set. You'd think that great players potentially could be great coaches. Well,
I know nothing. I couldn't spot like a flaw. I could spot a major flaw, but I don't think I could be a technical coach at all.
No. Well, the thing is, the way I describe you is you're what's called an unconscious competent. Right. You're very good at what you do, but you don't necessarily know how you're doing it.
Yeah, exactly.
The only problem with that situation is when things go wrong, you're not really sure how to fix things.
Sure.
It's a bit like if Lando Norris's car breaks down, he's not going to mess about with the car, is he? He's going to get the engineers in, the mechanics, the people that actually understand.
This could be the most in-depth video we've ever done. This could go. It's going over my head. A lot of it will go over my head, so hopefully it doesn't go over you guys' help as well.
Sorry about this.
No, not at all. I mean, I find it. I don't understand it, but I do find it fascinating.
Now, Dennis Taylor's not going to like this too much. Oh, I mean, that's just world class. You'd be a great player one day.
It's a fluke. I played a safety shot because I didn't know it went. I mean, look at that for a safety shot.
Marvellous. Dennis Taylor's not going to like this.
Right.
He used to enter a competition called the Observer Cup in East Lancashire.
Right.
The area that Alex Higgins came to in the 70s to practice his game. Brilliant shot. And Alex was brought over by a guy called John McLaughlin from Blackburn.
Right.
But that part of the world had some really, really good players, Mark Boyd and Ali, Showkat Ali, these kind of players. So the Observer Cup, he could never actually win. He entered it a number of times and never won it.
Right.
I did. 1988, Observer Cup, that was brilliant.
But talking about not knowing what I'm doing, I think were you the first person that said to me where I look before I hit the ball? Because I didn't know. People used to always ask me. I thought, well, I don't know where I look.
And this is the interesting question. Why wouldn't you know where you look when you strike the cue ball?
Because you don't think about what you're doing.
No, because you don't see with your eyes. Right. And this is an interesting one. You're seeing with a part of your brain called the visual cortex. And it's proven now that when a golf player hits that ball, they don't see the strike. Right. The brain actually blinks.
Right.
So that then says, well, if the brain blinks at impact and you're not seeing the strike, does it necessarily mean, and how important is it where you're looking?
Right.
So you look at the cue ball. Ronnie O'Sullivan looks at the cue ball. Mark Williams looks at the cue ball. John Higgins, who you spent a lot of time with, looks at the cue ball. So I would say the greatest snooker players so far in history are all what I call cue ball players.
Right.
But it's actually been determined that you should look at the object ball at the moment you strike. Not the case. Although Steve Davis, object ball. John Parrott, object ball. Right. Neil Robertson, object ball. So there's no right and wrong way, is there?
No.
Everybody's different, and that's the interesting thing about it.
I saw also the interesting thing about coaching, because I mean, I obviously, as you know, I'm mad at my golf, and I watch chipping videos and all that sort of stuff. And everyone tells a different way of doing it.
Right. Well,
and so no coaches can be the same, and which is
right.
There's no right or wrong, is there?
I think the coach has to be very flexible and understand different things like mechanics and visuals. And the two keys for this game are technique mechanics and the visual cortex. Cerebellum, part of your brain, and the visual cortex, part of your brain. And the goal is to coordinate them two.
Right.
Where you are consciously looking is your visual cortex getting that cue to point to that point. So Mark Selby, 2020, became mechanically and visually uncoordinated. He's now not aiming where he thinks he is.
Right.
He's missing balls and saying, I mean, how am I missing that? So the moment you put your chin down onto that cue there, now you start to micro adjust your aiming. That's where aiming starts. The approach to the shot is important, yes, but the real business part starts when you put that chin down to the cue. Now you start to micro adjust based on what your brain is seeing in that moment.
But you can't adjust while you're down in the shot, though, can you?
You do micro adjust because you can't get down.
You don't go like that, though.
No, I'm talking about micro.
Right. Okay.
Because you can't get down perfectly. You see,
whenever all the players you've been involved with, I mean, you could see my vacant look as well. When you start going about visual cortexes and all that, what do the players are just like?
Well,
that's exactly what I would.
But the thing is, I like to give them the science because it's fact. It's not guesswork. It's not opinion.
Yeah.
That's how it is.
Right.
You're seeing with your brain. Through repetition, you create what's called habitual visuals, and you can start to see incorrectly.
Right.
So you can get to a point of doing it incorrectly where you think you're aiming to pot a ball, but you're not. Now there's a process to re-coordinate the mechanic with the visual, which we'll talk a little bit about later on.
Very fascinating, very complicated. I mean, it's like you just go up and say that.
It's not really complicated. It sounds complicated, but it's actually dead simple. It's really easy. It's a straightforward process. I mean, if you can get your mechanics and your visuals coordinated, you're in a good place. Right. If you're not coordinated, you'll have a nightmare. Now, recently, I get the phone call from Mark Allen, and he's saying, there's some shots I just can't work out what I'm doing wrong.
Right.
So we start this process about 2 months ago, and literally he was aiming to miss. And when I talk about aiming, I'm talking about when the cue strikes that ball, where is it pointing? Because here's the interesting information. You never addressed the cue ball in the middle when you wanted to strike in the middle.
No, I remember when you were with me, I used to be, yeah, I thought I was in the middle. You said, right now you're in the middle. I thought I was putting left.
No,
or
right. So you learned, as we said,
left? No, right.
Unconsciously competent. Does it very well.
That's like when I try and read putts. Is that from the left? No, it's from the right. Good.
So you were addressing with a tracer left because you have a natural left to right mechanic.
Right.
So you're not actually striking the cue ball at the same place that you address it.
Right.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, same. John Higgins, same. Mark Williams, right to left. They're not actually addressing and striking where in the same place. So it's not about cueing straight. This game is not about cueing straight. It's about striking where intended at the moment your tip hits that cue ball.
Right.
And at the same point, your cue's pointing to the object ball correctly. Now, you've got to train your brain, visual cortex and cerebellum, to be able to do that by habit, to get to a point where you don't have to think about anything. It's like driving a car. You can drive for an hour and not remember a damn thing about it.
Yeah.
You know, you're thinking about something else and the habit has taken over. It just drives.
Yeah.
Let's have a little look at this.
I mean, you were a bit unfortunate with me because you got me when I was like near the end and just yipping all over the place.
Well, you had.
How long did we spend together?
2007 to 2012, and you retired too early.
Yeah, because I couldn't hit the ball properly. I couldn't hit the ball properly.
You couldn't hit the ball properly. You made a 147 against Stuart Bingham, and now you're going to say, yeah, well, I only hit 3 or 4 good shots.
Yeah, I did.
But you cleared the table and made a max.
Yeah,
do you realise how good that is?
I mean, that was just through sheer determination, a bit of talent, and remembering where the pockets were.
It's phenomenal.
Yeah.
I mean, what you did in your career...
Didn't feel good, though.
What you did in your career was unbelievable. Your levels of concentration, for me, is the biggest thing for you.
Right.
You're like a cat looking at a mouse all the time. Your eyes are sort of coming out of your head. Your focus was amazing. And I would also say that your emotional state was perfect for snooker. Because when you're in alpha brainwave state, which is calm, relaxed, your brain communicates with the body optimally.
Right.
Axon into muscle, messaging gets through, everything works really good. That's what you were brilliant at. Plus, you were a grafter.
Yeah.
I mean, how many hours would you say you were practicing on a daily basis?
Well, I mean, in the 90s, late 80s, 90s, I was doing certainly 5 hours a day, sometimes 6, yeah. 5
hours a day, 6. So you'd be in the top 2% of practitioners now.
Right.
There's not that many doing that many hours.
No, I mean, obviously they've got a lot more tournaments now and stuff, and I speak to obviously Mark and John and stuff, and they're 50.
Yeah.
They don't want to be doing it, but the younger one, I mean, you go to the academies in Sheffield and they're playing all day.
Well, the Chinese players are very committed.
But even the other young kids in there, they're playing all day. They're just,
What are they practicing?
Well, that's why I don't see. You can't say it's wrong because I think break building's gone up so many levels since when I was a professional. But they're so complicated, the routines now.
Yeah, there's so many different kinds of routines. Yeah, it's interesting you mentioned an age thing there. You mentioned an age thing there. 50 right now. Yeah. Interestingly, I met a very interesting chap. As you know, I've worked on the DP World Tour, USPGA Tour, Asia Tour at golf, Ryder Cup, Masters Augusta, the whole thing. Open at St Andrews in your part of the world. Tom Watson, who I met in Holland, he was 59, and he should win the Open Championship against Tiger and McIlroy. One shot he was basically away from winning the Open.
Stuart Sink won it, didn't he?
Sink. 59 years of age, and that is far more technical and physical than snooker is. So, if you keep yourself fit, there's no reason why these guys, John, Ronnie, Mark Williams, there's no reason why they can't go on for another good few years.
Yeah. So who was your first pupil?
Jimmy White was my first professional player, late 1997-98, when you were playing him.
Did he approach you, or you approach him? Or?
He approached me. I never approach any player.
No.
If I'm not doing my work...
Well, you can do, can you?
No.
You can't do.
There's this pass, I think it just about squeezes, doesn't it?
I mean, you get a bus through there.
Right, and just come round this side. Look how much tighter it looks from there. This is another little tip, guys. If you want to see if a ball actually does pass another ball, look from the pocket, because then you can see the gap between the two balls.
Yeah. I mean, it flies, but only because I know it flies in, because I've looked.
But there, it looks tighter.
Yeah, it does look tighter than. Yeah.
And the reason is that ball is bigger in your perception because it's nearer to you.
Is that because when I'm reading a putt going back to golf, when I go behind the hole, it looks completely different to behind the ball.
Absolutely. It's perception. It's your brain's perception of that situation.
Very confusing when you're putting. Very confusing. Yeah. So Jimmy approached you.
Yeah, we had 2 years, which was a very interesting 2 years. And I would say if Jimmy was as committed back then as he is now, I mean, I've never seen him so committed.
Well, I know. I mean, I've got nothing but admiration for the love for the game he's still got to play
He's got
do it.
Total passion for the game, hasn't he?
Just loves it.
So then it went on to Peter Ebdon back into 2000.
I mean, you and Peter were made for each other, right? I mean, it was.
Why do you say that?
Because I think because the stuff that you were obviously trying to get me to do and buy into, I think I was. I don't think I'm into that. I don't think I'm the right.
Possibly not.
I mean, you had me trying to meditate and all that sort of stuff, and I fell asleep.
Yeah. Well, the thing is,
I was meditating. I fell asleep.
Back in 2005, I went to.
And you said like watching old videos of myself winning to visualize it. But all that said to me was, look how I am now.
that's how you viewed it.
Yeah, exactly. And I think you have to be a special person to sort of take that stuff on. And I think Peter, that's what I'm saying. I think you were made for it because he's like.
Yeah. No, it is.
Or was it when you first started? Was it like that, or did you create the monster?
Well, I actually gave him a book back in 1999 at the what was the team event in Newcastle? The Home Nations, was it?
Yeah, the Home Nations. Yeah.
Right. I gave him a book called Think and Grow Rich, and subsequently he's gone on to appear in one of the newer versions of it, Think and Grow Rich. His name's in there as a world champion, and there's 13 principles in that book about success. You know, persistence being one of them. You know, as you know, Peter is very persistent.
Yeah.
He became very strong mentally. Self-belief was very strong. You know, and that was his main attribute, I think. I mean, technically, you're slightly left to right. Well, he's in a different postcode. He starts in one postcode and finishes up in another postcode. And he's also a cue ball player. When he strikes the cue ball, he looks at the cue ball. Yeah. And it's interesting, that, isn't it? I mean, if you think about it, if you're going to hit something, wouldn't you look at it?
Yeah, you would think, yeah.
You know,
do boxers look at the guy's head when they're punching them?
Yeah, they do. But the dart scenario, you know, where are you looking when you throw a dart? Well, is this a dart? And the cue ball's the board? You know, you look at it different ways, can't you?
Yeah.
So that's fascinating. So anyway, Peter Ebdon, 2000 to 2002.
How many years had he been a pro? was that when he had a ponytail and all that stuff? No, it was after that.
No, you can remember him. He lost a lot of weight in that final, didn't he? He'd been a pro a number of years, and his major goal was to be world champion. And to watch that final frame, 17-all, you remember the black you missed?
Yes.
17, 16 down, and then you've made a brilliant clearance.
Yeah.
And I have to sit there and watch him, and all he's ever talked about to me is winning this world championship. He's got one frame to do it against the guy who's got his slippers under the table, who feels completely at ease in that arena, who's done it 7 times before, who's beaten him there before as well.
Yeah.
Did you
he got away with it. Was it a safety shot or a long shot? He butchered in the deciding frame.
He did.
And got away with it and left me at one that I'm always going to take on, but it was a horrible shot. It was a horrible shot. I was never going to refuse it. But he could have left me right in. Yeah, I remember it.
Just based on that, what was your sort of attitude and opinion towards shot selection? Because you were very aggressive, weren't you?
Yeah.
Very aggressive. I mean, you were the one that sort of came through as this young guy who just basically
too aggressive. Even when my game was shot near the end, I was still going for them.
Yeah.
When I could have probably changed my game and sort of hung around, but it wasn't my game.
Well, you always came out with that quote to me that safety is overrated.
Well, and you never get a point for a safety shot.
That's true.
But if you play a good one, you'll get points after it. But you don't get a point.
No, for sure. And I think in today's game, I think the level now is high across the board more now. It's more sort of down the rankings. You look at these players down the rankings, and they're all great players.
I tell everyone when I had that a couple of years ago when I was playing some qualifiers, the standard of safety, I was very impressed.
Yeah.
I was coming in at the bottom, and these guys were still playing very, very good safety.
Yeah.
And you left them in, they were winning the frame. Whereas back in the 80s, 90s, they weren't.
You'd
You'd get 3, 4, 5 chances. Or they take 3, 4, 5 chances.
Well, we talked about one thing once, which was brilliant. You said you were going down to the Crucible and almost having one suit for that round, and then the second suit would be for round 2, and
I took a jacket
for the final.
Yeah.
You were that confident that you were going to do the business. You know, it's difficult to sort of get into that mindset today, isn't it? Because of the level of players.
Yeah. So what was I mentioned? I mean, you don't have to say anything that's secret of that. But what was it like being in the dressing room with Ebdon for that final against me? Because obviously I'm on my own in the dressing room reading a newspaper. You've seen me. I don't want to speak to anyone.
No.
Chris was with me. One day I'm playing at 10 o'clock in the morning at the Crucible, and
I'm laughing.
And I'm not a morning person, so I'm like I don't want to speak to anyone. We're in the Crucible at 9 a.m. Ebdon's not with you anymore, but he's on the other table.
Yeah.
And he's coming, morning, Peter, morning, bounding about, and I'm like, well, you shut the f up, you two, like, just let me in my misery for like 20 minutes.
Well, your words were, it's far too early to be that happy.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. So what sort of stuff were you doing in the dressing? Was it because you've been in the dressing room with me and you've had me doing breathing things and
we do some breathing stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. We talk a little bit about going back to the keys. You know, he had one major key that year.
Right.
And this is an interesting point, by the way, for anybody who's interested in improving the game. Being what we call process oriented. What keys can you implement that you can control? Because guess what? You can't control the results.
No.
Because you win every time. And what about this one? Can you control your performance?
No, you can prepare for it, but I don't suppose you can control it, can you?
So if you could control performance, you'd play great every time, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
So because we're emotional animals and we don't feel the same all the time, it affects our performance levels. Now we've come to a point, Stephen, I want to stop you there.
Yeah.
There's a little story about Shaun Murphy, because that leads me on to, we started to work in 2007 until 2000.
But I want to finish like with Ebdon first, because that result hurts me more than any result I've ever had.
You're going to go back to that.
Because I like when I beat Ronnie in the semi-final, I thought I just had to turn, and it was my fault. I don't think I went in the final with the right approach. Did
you think you were just going to win?
I thought there's no way he can beat me over 4 sessions. But where's the difference between confidence and, I don't know whether it's overconfidence or expectation, or I don't know what's the difference. Because you want to be confident.
Confidence is knowing that you know how to do what you need to do.
Yeah.
That's being confident.
But going saying there's no way he can beat me, that's not confidence,
that's not the best thing to do.
No.
Because there's always a possibility, isn't there?
Yeah.
I mean, he's got to the world final. He's not a poor player.
Well, exactly. But I mean, yeah, just.
And you've also got to remember that he's very tough mentally, Peter.
Oh, he was amazing.
He'll never give up, and it's that attribute that got him there. I think, did he go 12-6 up, and then you came back to 12-all?
He did go. The first night.
Yeah.
Session. I remember he had a good session, and as all players do, he had a decent run of the ball. All players do. They complain about the other players running the ball. They forget what the run that they had.
They always forget their fluence.
Yeah. You always forget your stuff.
Absolutely.
But I remember feeling at the time, he's getting every lap. He probably wasn't, but that's how I was feeling at the time. And then getting more and more frustrated because obviously, as I said before, I thought, well, he can't beat me and stuff. But no, Peter was an incredible snooker player.
No, he was a brilliant player.
And as you say, like. The attitude, and I don't know how you'll explain how he did it, but he used to play better when he was like 5 frames behind.
Yeah, he became more determined.
I mean, it's just
incredible.
A few matches I was against him was like 3, 4, 5 frames ahead, and all of a sudden he starts playing out his skin. I'm saying,
well, I think that's a bit of reverse psychology as well. You get to a point where I've got to change something here. We keep going down this road. I've lost.
Yeah.
And usually you'll find in that situation,
it's like football. It's easy to say. Football. It's not easy to do.
No, football. You got 2-0 in front. What usually happens? The other guys are now all over you like a rash because they're trying to score and you're defending your lead. And I think on one side, the player that's in front can start getting a little bit defensive and negative to protect. And the other guy has to go for it and score and starts being a bit more aggressive, feeling better because they're thinking more positive.
Yeah.
And I always say that shot selection and the way you're thinking affects the way you're feeling. And emotion, how you're feeling, has the biggest impact on performance. If you can get into the right emotional state, now you're in a good place. And so, I think, he is the kind of guy, a bit like Mark Allen recently. I mean, he's just won the English Open. What was it, 4-0 down, 3-0 down, 5-3 down? And somehow, he goes into a different gear when he's behind. It's like the handbrake comes off. And
also when he does it once or twice, all the other players are thinking, when they go in front of him, thinking, oh God, they're waiting for it.
Yeah. Can you imagine playing in a golf tournament in the USPGA and Tiger's two off the lead?
Yeah.
Final day Sunday, you're 2 in front, Tiger's coming. It's not going to be a nice feeling, is it? You know. Now,
so what have we got here?
Shaun Murphy, one of his goals, 2013, he said, Chris, I've never made a televised 147 break. And he said, and I said, why? He said, well, every time I've got really anywhere near close, I get so nervous, I just can't even see properly.
Right.
And that's an interesting one because your brain sees and your visuals can get affected by the way you're feeling. So this word pressure is under pressure. What does it actually mean? Is it pressure?
Listen, in the 90s, I didn't know what pressure was like. I felt anxious in the dressing room before.
Yeah.
But that was more excitement and sort of just. But
anticipation.
actually out there, I'm not feeling pressure. I'm not
No, absolutely.
I mean, you get a situation where you're 59 behind, the guy misses, you've got to clear up last 4 reds. You're feeling pressure, but it's like I don't know.
Well, and the way I describe, now having learned about neuroscience and understanding how the brain interprets things, pressure is an emotional state being experienced by the individual based on the meaning that the subconscious is giving to that situation.
I mean, look at this, how easy it is.
Right.
It's the same, if you got to put that in a deciding frame, it's the same balls, the same pockets, the same situation.
But your brain will perceive it differently.
Yeah.
Right. So which creates a different emotional state. Different chemicals, different neurotransmitters start to fire, epinephrine, noradrenaline, this kind of stuff. It's quite complicated stuff. Anyway, Shaun said, right, I want to make a 147. I said, right, what you've got to do is put memory files into your hippocampus, into your brain, of doing 147s, so that when it starts to happen for real, your brain starts to deal with it more naturally. He said, well, how can you do that? I said, well, this is an interesting thing. The subconscious doesn't know the difference between what's real and what isn't real. And he said, how do you know? I said, well, have you ever been to watch a horror movie at a cinema? You've sat down in this chair, it's a white plastic screen on a wall, it's a horror movie, and after 10 minutes you're like this, looking through your fingers, because your brain's turning something that's not real into something that is real for you. And it's causing you to feel in a different way. So we did this routine, and he said, Chris, can you count? We need 15 reds. I said, well, the subconscious doesn't know the difference. We're going to start with 3 reds, and I want 3 reds, 3 blacks, and clear the colours. Stephen.
And what
96.
Yeah, I think you have done this with me before.
96.
But that's nothing to do with like 96. That was just my technique. right,
that's what you're saying. 96. Stephen Hendry, final of the World Snooker Championship. And this is how I'm talking to the players, by the way. I'm creating what we call a role play scenario. 97. Okay. Okay. Now, interestingly, Shaun pots the black and I shout 104.
Yeah.
There's 2 or 3 tables at Urmston Con Club, all playing, and they stopped. Hey, he's on a max. Right? And he misses a straightforward red.
Yeah.
He said, look at my hands.
Yeah.
And they were shaking. Because all of a sudden, the brain now gives it a different meaning.
Yeah.
And you feel different.
Yeah.
Through repetition, it took him 9 attempts. We videoed the 9th,
right.
We videoed them all. He watched that video over and over, memory file creation, 147, 147, 147. He did this routine daily, memory files, 147, 147, 147. And a few months later, look on YouTube, 2014, he made a 147 live on TV. A few weeks later, he makes a second 147 live on TV. And he said, I felt a bit sort of nervy, but nowhere near like normal.
Yeah.
Because the brain's reference now, the amygdala, is seeing that, it compares it to the memory files, and guess what? You feel more relaxed, which is an interesting way of doing things,
yeah.
which I've been using in professional golf, and probably the reason why Rafa went on to win the Rolex Series Scottish Open. Go on, I'll finish off. You missed.
No, let's have one more go. One more go.
He's not happy with that, is he? 97. Still a great looking technique, by the way, but you've underhit that.
A great looking technique. That was butchered that. Great looking technique.
104.
Yeah, very done. Right, can I do this?
Come on, White. Oh.
Okay, give up with that.
And by the way, in the same calendar year, he went on to make his 3rd televised 147. You remember that black he potted from here?
Yeah.
Last black, cut it in, got on the yellow. So he's the only player in history now to have made 3 maximums in the same calendar year. Going from not being able to do it, creating the memory files of doing it over and over and over and over. His brain deals with it better, he feels in a better emotional state, and his performance is fine. It's amazing how that works.
Right, let's go into these bowls.
Right, so
you've come up with these bowls.
These are 17 gram high dispersion bowls.
Right.
Why did I invent these? Because as a coach, I don't want to try and keep convincing you that something's going wrong. I want you to be able to see it as well.
Right.
So there's no argument. But what these are a way of developing very, very effective striking of the cue ball within a tight tolerance. So golf, make the hole slightly smaller and practice that. And when you take that out, it looks bigger.
Yeah.
So this thing here has a tighter tolerance.
I never used to understand something similar to that, why my practice table, I always had quite bigger pockets.
Right.
Because I never understood why players want to practice on tight pockets.
They practice on tighter pockets because when they go to a table with a bigger pocket, it just feels a bit easier.
Yeah, but the pockets.
You can't be too tight because you're ruining your practice.
Yeah.
So what have we got here? We've got a 17 gram.
It's a big ping pong ball, isn't it?
Yeah, it's high dispersion, but it's reinforced plastic. It's very, very tough.
Okay.
You can't break these, basically.
Right.
You stand on them. Can you strike the cue ball where intended? So the goal of this one is to strike that ball into that corner pocket, as if you're going to play the speed of a long stun shot for the red, for the black.
Right.
Just below centre. So this is going to tell us if you're striking in the middle when you want to. Right, so what's happened, Stephen?
Pushed it to the left. So I put right
Which
hand
side spin do you put on?
Right hand side.
And do I need to tell you as a coach what you've done wrong? You've seen that. Right. You've applied unintentional right hand side. So as a coach now, what I have to do is go about this process of helping you correct that issue the best possible way for you. Is it a visual thing where your address is wrong, or is it a mechanical problem? Could you strike this with what you believe is an absolute trace of left? So it's slightly below centre, it's a trace of left hand side spin, it's a touch. Right, and now it's gone slightly the other side.
Yeah.
Now, players that use this now, Mike Allen, lots of players use them, they're knocking that in there 7 or 8 out of 10 now.
Yeah.
Because they've become visually and mechanically coordinated. I'll give you one more go. Same speed, just below centre. Brilliant. So now you've struck the centre.
Yeah.
And with repetition, what you're doing is you're coordinating your mechanics and your visuals. Some people say, well, why don't you hit the white over the spots? You could try that. The problem is this, it's a bigger tolerance. You can put a little bit of side on and come side of the black and it can come back straight. But also, after about a week, you've got a horrible white line. But the fact of it is this, because of the tolerance level, that tolerance level is very, very, very small. And if you're habitualizing in a very small area, then this ball becomes so much easier. Because did you know that a quarter tip of side spin does not push the ball offline?
Right.
Now a quarter tip of side spin with that, you'll miss. So if you're repeating that, habitualizing within that tolerance, then surely that makes it easier for that ball.
Yeah. Well, how often are players spending on that then?
Right, so
I've seen Mark Allen do it in intervals of matches.
Well, we're using it at the English.
Yeah.
He starts off with this.
Is that not in the middle of a match? Is that not too?
He loves it. Yeah. I mean, I'm not advising that necessarily.
Yeah.
He wants to do it. He wants the feedback.
Right. Okay.
So you've got 5 attempts to get 3 in. You've got 5 attempts to get 3 in. You've got 5 attempts with your hand on the cushion to get 3 in. 5, 3 in. What we call hand on cushion angle. 5 to get 3 in. From the cushion, 5 to get 3 in. We're covering all areas.
Yeah.
And then with the rest, you're 5 to get 3 in. Then we bring out this ball here. This is the light red. This is for aiming now. Now there's no way you're putting enough side spin on here to make this shot miss.
Right.
Because you're not putting enough spin on. Can you try and pop that red ball now into the corner pocket? The goal is to get the red ball in the pocket without the ball touching any cushion. Just play a little soft stun shot. Stopping the white here. Just a little soft stun. Right. Now, 7 times world champion, right? Mark Selby, 4 times world champion. Mark Allen, multiple ranking tournament winner. Is it possible for Stephen Hendry to aim that shot incorrectly without consciously being aware of it? And the answer is a resounding yes. Your aiming was wrong there. Yeah. Now, if you can keep getting this in, then a 142 gram ball becomes easier. Now, I would ask you this time to consciously override your current visual habit. To consciously override your current visual habit and get this ball just to brush inside the left half of the pocket. And the reason for that is, by habit, you've aimed it slightly left of intended, to the right jaw. And I'm going to do it the other way now. We're going to say, right, Stephen, if you could consciously get that red ball now slightly here. It feels a little bit inside left half. Right, it looks like left half for you. So what I would now say is, Mr. Stephen Hendry is slightly, mechanically and visually uncoordinated.
Right.
What does that mean? You're looking to a point, Stephen, but your cue isn't pointing to the same point. Nightmare. But you're convinced it is.
Right.
So until you correct that coordination, you're going to have problems.
Is there an optimum time of practice, hours, that you need for it to go in?
Unfortunately, I'm going to have to go a little bit into neuroscience again.
Right.
Right. So you've got a brain. Okay. You create a habit. A habit is a cluster of neural connections. Your brain is creating a cluster of neural connections, and through repetition, when you've got enough of those connections, it's now a habit, and it runs from your brain without you thinking about it. Solo practice, if you're doing, I have about 30 different challenging, points-related, difficult routines.
I remember even just before matches in the practice, you'd have me putting the black from tight the cushion. I'm saying, why am I practicing that? It's like...
From the cushion?
Yeah.
Well, because you're going to get those matches. You're going to get those shots in matches, aren't you?
Yeah, but it's very difficult. I seen Mark Allen and yourself the other day, like before he went out. He's like here on the black.
Well, there's three. There's the straight. There's a right
to left. He missed it 3 in a row, and I'm thinking I've got to go and play a match now. I just missed that 3 times in a row. If I get that in the match, I'm like, oh no.
But it's fine.
It shows you how weak mentally I am.
There's a straight, there's a right to left, and there's a left to right.
Yeah.
And that's what we're doing with that one. But it's all about creating habits like this. You know, I can start to play this. I'm not really thinking about what I'm doing.
No, you don't have to think what you're doing because you only know one song. That's enough.
I'm not thinking about it, but I've created a habit through repetition that just does it. Create effective striking of the ball and aiming of the ball by habit within a small tolerance. And if you don't mind...
No, go ahead, tell the guys where you can get it.
What I'd love to do is actually give one of these sets away for free to somebody who's going to win them. They come with online videos at chrishenrysports.com. And if anybody can tell me what was the highest break made in the Welsh Open Championship in 2011,
okay,
what was the highest break and who made that break? And guess what we're going to do also, Stephen? We're going to ask you to sign this box.
One question I have to, I was thinking about, I have to ask you. If you've got 2 players in the final, you're coaching them both. How are you doing that? What are you saying to each player in the dressing room?
By the way, just very quickly, info@chrishenrysports.com. Send your entries to that email address. The highest break, 2011 Welsh Open Championship. The 2021 final, I'm coaching Shaun Murphy, and I'm coaching Mark Selby in the final of the World Championship. Yeah. It was...
Cha-ching!
Of course, the commission was very nice. There's about 700 grand there being swished around.
You do the math.
Important point. We don't talk about the opponent in the changing room with the other opponent. We're not talking about...
You don't go in the dressing room and say, look, he's gone.
No.
You do this, he's gone.
No. Never spoke about Shaun to Mark.
Yeah.
I never spoke about Mark to Shaun. It's about me helping Shaun be his best, and it's about me helping Mark be his best, and they go out and play. Right. It doesn't feel great, by the way.
So I can't imagine it must be a weird...
It's terrible. Imagine being a football coach. You're coaching both teams.
You can't have favouritism. You can't say who they want to win or who.
No.
I mean, who would have, say, practice before the final? Who would have priority?
Well, we had a chat. You know, you do it then. You do it then.
And the players.
I made sure I had to do that. I was even timing myself how long I was in each changing room.
Right.
Just to make sure they couldn't say you were 15 minutes there and 20 minutes here.
Yeah.
I actually literally kept looking at my watch. just to make sure it was about the same. It's an horrible feeling because you know you're going to get a winner, but you're definitely getting a loser as well.
Yeah. So how many players are you coaching now?
About 7.
I don't know where you can actually say this, actually. I was going to say, is there any players that you haven't worked with, snooker-wise, and you think, I could fix him, or
I've never worked with Ronnie. I've never actually worked with Ronnie.
Would you like to?
I'd love to work with Ronnie, yeah. I mean,
without going into detail, because we can't really do that, but I mean, has he got faults? I don't know. I mean, he's like...
I think when we started working in 2007, you got to a point where your passion and your drive and your commitment and your determination was different.
I mean, you can't go to a player and sort of like just take their whole technique apart, can you?
I would never do that.
Yeah.
I would, I'm looking
because Frank Callan was a bit like you could recognise a Frank Callan player by the cue action.
For me, a coach has to be very flexible and understand the individual. How is that player going about what he does? And are there any little tidbits that we can sort of improve to improve their level?
Yeah.
Basically, without upsetting everything that's working. Don't fix things that are not broken. But like that, just that example there, you're aiming to miss that shot. You don't think you are. You'll say to me, no, I didn't aim it right, Joe.
Yeah.
But you did. And what I'm talking about is when the cue struck the ball at that point, where is your cue pointing? Is that, Ronnie's probably not committed now anyway. Is he fully committed to snooker? Has he got lots of other things going on? Probably.
Yeah.
So...
But there's no one out there you've seen and go, I couldn't do, that's perfection.
I don't believe in perfection.
No.
They say practice makes perfect. Doesn't. Practice makes permanent.
Right.
Practice makes habits. And what you're practicing needs to be good because it's going to create habits of mechanics and visuals. So, the repetition that you're doing is so important. I love working with different kinds of players and different kinds of personalities, and it's a fascinating thing, But this process of what we call neural rewiring, which is a way of generating confidence and belief subconsciously, is fascinating.
One thing I watch, and you hear quite a lot about players are going to titanium ferrules and all that sort of stuff, is deflection.
Right.
Cue
ball deflection.
Can you explain a bit of cue ball deflection?
Yeah, sure. Where's the cue ball?
Because you obviously used to have the accurate cues, which I went to.
Well, you made 2 147s at the Crucible with a low deflection cue.
Yeah, and then got beat by Nigel Bond in the first round. Yeah.
And by the way, when he retired in 2012, he's made a 147 against Stuart Bingham. He's beaten John Higgins 13-3, and then lost to Stephen Maguire, and then retired.
That's so funny because I'm playing Stephen Maguire in the quarter-final. The match against Higgins was terrible. So I've lost the first session 4-0. I've come to the dressing room, you've got in, I've got, that's it. Can't win.
Can't win.
Can't win. Your face.
What do you mean you can't win? I'm like this.
Right, a deflection.
Right, here's a cue ball.
Okay.
Now, it's all about the amount of friction between the ball and the cloth.
Right.
So cloths make a massive, massive difference.
Right.
What else makes a massive difference is this. And it's something called end mass. It starts with a tip. The hardness of the tip, the harder the tip, the faster the ball comes off the tip, the less deflection.
A la Mark Williams.
A la Mark Williams. The shape of the tip affects deflection. If it's flat, there's more deflection. If it's more rounded, it's less deflection.
Deflection, you mean just the ball's just going straight where you're...
So, let's talk about that. The lower you play with side spin, the more that ball will push off the line. Now, this is interesting. This is a little bit technical, this.
Right, okay.
This is where coaches can go wrong. A player applies left-hand side, that ball will push off line to the right in relation to the direction the cue is currently pointing. It doesn't mean to say you're going to miss that ball to the left. If you cue across too far, and that is a low deflection cue, it won't push it back far enough to pot it.
So what is a low deflection cue?
So a low deflection cue reduces the amount that ball pushes to the opposite side with side spin. It keeps it more straight.
So if you've got, say, an angled shot,
yes.
I'm just trying to be as simple as possible, and you want to pot it, but you want to use side.
Left-hand side.
Low deflection means you still aim where the aiming point is.
Right, can I use a different shot?
Yeah.
Okay. This is more clear. We're going to pot that black, and we're going to screw back straight. We're going to screw back with bottom right-hand side. Now, this cue will push that ball off to the left to a degree based on the density of the wood, the flexibility of the shaft, the weight of the cue, the tip hardness and shape, but also the ferrule. And you mentioned titanium. There's different.
It seems to be the fashion now.
Yeah, it's the fashion, but you've got to remember there's different grades of titanium, and there's also different wall thicknesses. So titanium ferrule doesn't necessarily massively reduce deflection. It depends on what grade and how thick the walls are.
Right.
That's massively important. So this is an example. Bottom right hand side means that this ball will be pushed left, which now means you have to change your aiming.
Yeah.
You might now have to aim slightly to the left of the pocket because the ball's going to push and correct that aiming. Now, to the degree that that cue pushes the ball offline, you've got to learn that. And now it will tell you where you need to aim. So if you can play that shot, bottom right, you tell me where you think you're aiming that black to start with now. Are you about here?
Actually, I'm aiming pretty straight. Am I?
You're aiming, yeah, you're slightly inside here, yeah. Yeah, it's very good. So that's very good as well. Look at the side you've got. That cue is actually quite low in deflection.
Right.
Yeah, but you can get some cues that are very high. And I think the highest deflection cue I've ever seen is Fergal O'Brien's.
Right.
I mean, literally, when Fergal was playing a break-off shot, he was aiming way past to the side of the pack to throw it back in, which means there's more variables.
Because I don't understand, the players that are going to titanium, I don't understand, they've played their whole life a one way.
They have to change their aiming.
And yeah, exactly. And now they want to change the way they're aiming. Like,
you've got to change the way they're aiming. And the question is, can they adjust? And can they do it in that big moment, in that big match live on TV?
Well, that's it.
You know what I mean?
On the slippy cloth.
Right. And now you just mentioned slippy cloth, and let's just come a little bit to this. We're talking now about.
What a segue that was! I didn't even mean it. Look at that.
We're talking about friction now. How much friction is there between the cloth and the ball? The friction between the ball and the cushions can make the ball bounce in a different direction. So as this cloth starts to wear and the friction increases, it changes everything. There's less spin on the ball.
Square bouncing. Yeah.
There's less push of the cue ball with side spin. There's a slower bounce when it's new, and now it becomes a more of a pingy, faster bounce. Yeah. And this new product, the Friction Fix, allows you to put this onto an older cloth and get that playability.
Is Q-tips getting a percentage, or are they sales, by the way?
This gets your cloth, when you put it on the cushions and on this cue ball, it starts to play like a new cloth.
So it slides.
It slides.
Because I would do it when I had the table at home. When the cloth started to get old, I'd start putting polish on the cue ball.
Right. So you're reducing friction.
Yeah. You're using a special cue today, I believe. Whose cue is it?
Stephen Hallworth's cue, a beautiful Coots cue. Fantastic.
Wow.
And the deflection is really, really good.
And he's let you have it.
Amazingly, he trusted me. Yeah.
It's quite nice.
It's a nice cue, isn't it?
You don't see maple cues very much, do you? But
Stephen Maguire was dipping in and out, wasn't he, with maple?
Yeah, everything, yeah. But Stephen Hallworth lent his cue, well.
He did. Very nice of him, wasn't it? Very kind.
And on that bombshell.